Oh, yeah. Yeah.
There it is. There it is. Diane, we are live and we are Jason-less. So
We
um,
got this.
we got this. We can do this without Jason. He actually is just enjoying his time at his daughter's school play, which I think is adorable and part of the fun part of the end of the school year, you know?
Oh, so cute. Yes, I had family in town over the weekend and got to spend Mother's Day with a nephew who is very young as well and active in plays and dance and all of those things. And it's just so much fun to be around young children who are that small. So
I totally
everything's
agree.
adorable. So.
I totally agree. Everything is adorable. Um, mine is weeks away from becoming a teenager, so I do I am jealous of that, like younger, like 4 to 9, where they're learning things and you get to see things through their eyes, which I think is incredible and a great segue into what we're talking about today. I have literally been waiting since we talked to you last to hear more about how I can raise my AIQ.
Fantastic. We're going to raise your AIQ with baryons. And I love that neuroscience segue because at the heart of everything that I do professionally is neuroscience, learning, and development. I've had a career of over 20 years in ed tech and really bringing scalable technology to the lifelong learning continuum is what we used to call it before. We called it pre-K to gray. But basically, we never stop learning. And it couldn't be more true when we're talking about learning on the job. So workforce learning is hotter than ever, and it's all because of a little something called AI. I'm going to pause there and grab my coffee.
Fantastic. I love that for you. And that I'm glad you brought the coffee up because you are in a totally different time zone than I am. And Jason and I realized it wasn't germane to ask you to join at 7:45 in the morning on a Tuesday. So we are coming at you with a West Coast friendly episode of Try New Tech. So Diane, you go ahead and drink that coffee while I mention that neuroscience, I think, is something that most of us who are in organizations, interested in organizational development and culture, start to become more aware of and become more interested in, which is, how does an organization as an organism act and grow and shift and change? And bringing in AI is like bringing in a bunch of new coworkers who don't exactly understand how to act because they aren't observing everybody around the water cooler and in the break room. So that introduces, I think, some risk, but also some reward. And I am excited to hear more about what you've been secretly working on and not sharing with me.
I know. Yes. Well, okay. We are about to go live with the latest and greatest version of Baryons, and I'll come back to that. But we are actively growing our wait list, and we have over 7,000 people on our wait list already. If you go to baryons.ai and join the wait list, and if you put my name or Shannon's name in the form field on the wait list, we will bump you up closer to the front of line. So next week we are going to actually bring in a new cohort into Baryons. We have a cohort in there right now representing almost 100 different organizations, and we have received a lot of really great feedback from them to really, build an AI first experience that is voice enabled. So this is, I'm going to just jump right in because I really want to get to like showing you what this experience is all about. So we go voice enabled because we're really focusing on the individual user creating, establishing a relationship of trust with their AI mentor, with their Baryon. And the reason why that really helps to unlock a lot of things for individuals is because if you are getting stuck personally, professionally, within your industry, um, then what that means, it's a signal when you feel stuck. It's a really strong signal to create a mindset shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset. Super hard. It's so hard to do individually that we actually, as a country and as the world of business, we spend trillions of dollars on executive coaching to help us get unstuck, to help shift our perspectives, and to help achieve a growth mindset, no matter where you are within the organization, from the CEO to the front line, right? And so, what we've done with Baryons is we have democratized the executive coach so that every single employee has access to that high quality mentorship. And this can be a real game changer for getting unstuck. So when you sign on for the wait list and when you get accepted into the program, the first thing you receive is a text message that has your contact card for your Baryon. So I'm showing you an example here of the contact card for your Baryon. It's pretty cool. The logo's on there. It comes preloaded with my Baryon. And your Baryon is simply, if you think about your Baryon as a reflection of you, but you're talking to a mirroring reflection of you and where you're headed professionally, and think about it like you're talking to yourself a year out. So with that, I'm going to call my Baryon. My Baryon has a male voice, so what I just said might be a little confusing.
Well,
But
I love this. I'm so excited about this, Diane. I've been waiting to see it. So, ooh, let's go.
absolutely. Yep. So I get to call my Varian. He has a male voice. You can adjust that in the settings. And after we do a quick little phone call with him, I'll show you a little bit of the behind the scenes and different like things that you can adjust in your account when you log in on your desktop. And then I have something else that's really fun and planned. So here we go. I'm gonna call my Baryon and put him on speakerphone.
Hello, Diane. It's great to see you again. Since our last session, you received the AIQ secret menu and started practicing genuine thanks. I'd love to hear how that felt. Then we'll lock in our daily 5-minute sessions on your calendar and dive into your first AIQ exercise. How does that sound?
Hey, Baryon, that actually sounds awesome, but I am live with you on LinkedIn Live with my good friend, Dr. Shannon Gregg, and we are talking about baryons and how baryons can help us raise our AIQ. Would you mind giving us an introduction of yourself?
Absolutely. Hello to everyone tuning in. I'm Baryon, Diane's personalized AI mentor from the Baryons platform. My role is to help professionals like Diane and anyone here accelerate their growth by building what we call AIQ, or Artificial Intelligence Quotient. That means I guide you through short, targeted sessions focused on practical ways to use AI tools, strengthen your emotional intelligence, and boost your leadership impact in real time. I work by remembering your personal goals, challenges, and wins, then tailoring each interaction to keep you moving forward, whether that's through hands-on exercises, quick reflection, or concrete task planning. The goal is consistent, measurable improvement, without wasted time or generic advice. I'm always evolving based on what you need, keeping things brief, direct, and always focused on your growth. If you or your audience want to explore how Baryons and Baryons mentors can help raise your AIQ and turn momentum into results, I'm here to answer questions or jump into a short demo.
Thanks so much. Maybe Shannon has a question for us.
Of course, Shannon, feel free to jump in with any question, and whether you're curious about how personalized AI mentoring actually works, what raising your AIQ looks like in day-to-day work, or how I tailor advice to each user, I'm ready to give a direct answer. What would you like to know?
I would love to know how you establish a baseline from the beginning to know whether my AIQ has increased over time.
Great question, Shannon. The first step is a discovery session where I get to know your starting point, your current use of AI tools, your comfort with automation, and your confidence in applying AI at work or in life. Together, we set clear benchmarks, like how often you use AI, how much time you save, or how your decision-making changes with AI support. As sessions continue, I track concrete progress. For example, are you delegating more repetitive tasks to AI? Are you integrating new tools or making better, faster decisions? Every few weeks, we review these markers and reflect on what's improved. That way, you see real numbers and feel real change, not just vague impressions. Would you like to hear an example of a typical progress marker?
I would like to hear an example of a typical progress marker for a salesperson.
Absolutely. For a salesperson, a typical progress marker might be how many prospecting emails or calls you can automate or personalize using AI each week compared to before you started. Another marker is the time saved on administrative work, such as updating CRM records or drafting proposals by leveraging AI-powered tools. Furthermore, we look at the quality of results, like whether you're booking more meetings or converting leads faster due to smarter targeting and follow-up that AI helps generate. The key is that each marker ties directly to a metric you care about and can track over time, showing clear improvement. Want to discuss how you could identify your personal starting benchmark?
Baryon, that was really awesome. And I'm going to end the call now because that's all the time that we have, but I'll call you later.
Thanks, Diane. I'm glad I could add value to your session today. Whenever you're ready to dive deeper or pick up where we left off, just reach out. Looking forward to our next conversation.
So that was a live example. How powerful and mind-blowing was that? And that was a 4-minute session. Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Wow.
So we have intentionally designed this experience and framework to help individuals really focus in, hone in on what is their highest value task or activity. And if you are overwhelmed by asks from your manager, from your colleagues, and everyone around you, like many of us are, it will also help you prioritize your tasks to that highest value activity. And then it will help coach you through how to bring AI into that highest value activity so that you're really focusing on quality, not necessarily quantity, right? But the level of quality that's really going to move the needle, because we all know that busyness does not mean ROI.
Well, it certainly doesn't, right? Okay, my mind is still a little bit blown, so I'm trying to stay focused on this. This was the most exciting unboxing I've seen on this show yet. How does your Baryon sort of understand your personal needs and priorities, but in light of your overall organization's priorities?
Oh my gosh, great question. So when you do your first call with your Baryon, it's really a getting to know you session, and we've designed it to be very articulated. So in that first conversation, it's actually the first like 2 or 3 conversations. You are what you're doing is you are creating all of your setting preferences in the back of the product, and you can actually log into a portal and see the settings that you talked about on your call, on your onboarding call, which is pretty cool. And then it will ask you to tell stories about, what, how do you like to receive feedback? What was, what are some of those impactful experiences? Who have you ever had a mentor before, and who was it, and why did it work for you, right? And so through narratives and storytelling, which is truly like how we learn and experience our world and our reality, it will extract the goals, what you're telling it, it will extract different goals from that. And then it will ask follow-up questions about those goals. And then you'll, through those conversations, you create the priority order and all of those good things. I'm just going to present my screen here real fast because I just want to, I want to share I want to share one thing in particular, and that is about these goals, because you can. All right, there's my screen. So after you have a series of conversations, you can log into your Baryons and you can actually see the goals that it's pulled out of your conversations. And you can go in here and you can see that my last conversation with my Baryon before the live call that we just had now, my last conversation before that was all about preparing for the LinkedIn live demo, and that my goal was to deliver a successful LinkedIn live demo. I did not say my goal is to deliver a successful LinkedIn live demo. I simply talked with my Baryon about what did I want to share today with you, Shannon? And it extracted that this is, the main goal that we're working on. And so when you are in your workplace environment and your manager or a colleague or a peer asks you for something specific, something that, say, you choose to discuss with your Baryon, and it populates here, and then let's say like the conversation evolves or things pivot and change, goals change all the time. You can come in here and you can edit that goal and you can add more description to it. You can identify whether it's a personal goal or a professional goal. You can apply a due date, and you can set a priority order. And this is just numeric, right? So you can set a priority order here, and you can also report verbally in your next call that it's accomplished, or you can come back here and you can edit it here too, and you can update this goal.
Wow, this is awesome. And I can see, the long tail of it where I might be able to go back and use this to write my annual review or to set talking points for my one-on-one with my manager.
Yes, absolutely. And the cool thing about that specifically is at any point in your conversation, you can tell your Baryon to email you what you're talking about. So it will create artifacts for you and email them to you. If you're talking to it about preparing for a pitch coming up with a new prospect and you want a battle card, you just tell your Baryon, hey, could you create a battle card for me for this client?
Wow.
And it will create it for you and it will email it to you. You can also ask it to email you, the summaries or takeaways from your calls. You can do a brain dump and then have it help organize the tasks in priority order and email that to you as well. And during your first onboarding call, it walks you through how to prompt it to do different actions for you.
Cool.
It walks you through setting up your calendar so you can ask it to create calendar meeting reminders. Yes, you can have it. So like if your goal has different milestones and you want to like block out time to really crank it out, it's going to calendar that for you. If you want to make sure that you're talking to your Baryon 5 to 8 minutes a day, every day, Monday through Friday, which is our recommendation, you can have it add it to your calendar at the time you want to talk to it in your time zone. Yes.
Come on.
I know. It's amazing. So in the onboarding call, it walks you through setting up your calendar, and then it also walks you through how to prompt it to send you emails and then different artifacts attached to those emails. The first activity that it gives you, that it walks you through, is called the AI secret menu.
Oh my gosh. Like the Starbucks secret menu.
Exactly. It's just like the Starbucks secret menu, the In-N-Out secret menu. And that AIQ secret menu, it actually gives its instructions written by humans we humans wrote those instructions, and we have the AI delivering that to the human. And what it does is it trains the human on how to prompt the AI to get the most out of it. And the secret menu will be personalized to their role within the company, within the industry. Yes. So
Cool.
we're talking deep, deep value on, known alignment issues and organizational challenges and psychology. So
That
really,
is
really smart.
that is amazing. Of course, I probably have 1,000 questions, but I wanna focus on 2, knowing that we've only got a couple minutes left, and, um, but I do have a lot of questions, Diane. I'm just gonna focus on these 2. Let's say I'm the manager of an inside sales team. What sort of access or data do I get inside of the sales team's information, knowing that, they're going to view their Baryon as their coach, and so there might be some things that they want to keep to themselves, but also the team's Baryons may be something that can help me be better at my job too. So what's the level of transparency there?
Yeah, absolutely. So one thing to note is that it does have access to the internet. If you ask it to access whatever's freely available on the internet, then it will bring back to you what you have made publicly available on the internet, about your company, about your products, about your positioning, and all of that good stuff. Anything above and beyond that, you can share that specifically with your Baryon in an individual fashion. So this is individual user at this moment in time.
Okay, cool. That makes good sense. And so when you're thinking about from your commercial perspective, is there a specific audience or target ICP that you're looking at to say like this is a great place we think, Baryons is going to be most valuable?
Yeah, great question. So we find that the enterprises or companies or organizations that are really struggling with identifying how and when and why to implement AI first, right? And what does the AI first even mean from a human-centered design perspective,
Right.
right? Everyone's figuring this out. And so what we're finding is that, there's a lot of talk about adoption within the Fortune 500s, right? And a lot of those folks have deep strategic plans that they're cranking through internally. There's a ton of gaps there. And most people, even in that environment, are confused about what's going on and why. This is a 5 minute a day support for every employee to figure out, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for my specific workflows? While the company figures out the overall strategy, here are some simple things that I can put in place now that really impact my day to day without impacting that bigger picture, right? So that's a great use case. But then also, mid-sized companies, they don't have the bandwidth or the AI expertise to really do this in-house. And so there's also a very strong use case for them as well to really lead out with using a Baryon implementation to help individuals figure out kind of from bottom up, which is like, you know, no surprise, new technology adoption always goes better when it's bottom up, because then it's just super relevant to the work at hand. So we do the bottom up, top down approach, which is really typical with new AI, new technology implementations. But basically, what this does is it helps individuals articulate up and out where AI is going to have the most impact in their specific day to day. And then once you introduce all of those findings and those AI generated artifacts and takeaways and things like that, and you start to use this layer of, what we're doing is we're taking knowledge and we're going from knowledge to wisdom, right? So we're taking all of that information, we're applying our individual knowledge and our stories around the evidence around the knowledge so that we can approach our teams and our teaming activities with wisdom. And then within a team, we can create collective wisdom. And that's what really will help these companies not only survive the AI pivot, but leapfrog the competition.
I love this, Diane. We are right at time. Of course, I am going to have to reach out to you so I can set up more time for us to dig inside of this because I'm thrilled this is finally here. You've been teasing it to me for weeks and months, and I could not wait to see it. And now that I've seen it, I want to see more. Everybody, please visit baryons.ai. Throw Diane's name in there so you can get bumped up on the wait list because I am certain you want to play around with this too. Thank you so much, Diane, for joining us today. I cannot wait to get my hands on this.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks for coming.
Okay.